All right, gonna play Deli for Triad Wars quarterfinals in a few minutes. Deli is, as always, like the final boss of TTA for me. Um, yeah, gonna be a little nervous at first, but hopefully we get through it. So I have 5 hands put together. One of them was stolen from Akiyama. One of them was I was talking a little with Piggyman about the rule set, and he threw this hand together. But the other three are pure my nonsense. This is my all-in attempt, and I'm gonna play it game one. Um, I really fell in love with the idea of these 2/6/2s. I think they give me a natural starter in any of the corners using the low level cards that creates some difficulty for my opponent. Like, if you look at Akiyama's hand, right? A 6 to the left, he has 2 ways he can capture it. And some of them I might be able to combo back. A 6 to the right, he has, again, 2 ways he can capture it. And I guess I don't have combo back potential there. So the hand might line up great against exactly Akiyama's hand. But if you think about other hands, I think I want to use the low levels in a way that creates some difficulties for them, and hopefully not for me. And I think this is a nice way to give myself ways to get the low level cards out of my hand without it just being a dead card on the field. My next thought was total level has to be 27. 10, 10, 5, 1, 1 immediately jumped out at me. I think it's really hard to have to get rid of two terrible cards. Having two cards that you really need to get rid of is a problem. But the ways they've been used more effectively so far, and my instinct was have something on them that can have some impact. Like, a 5-4-3-2 or something like that, a 4-3-2-3 can pick off nines in some spots, but if it doesn't, it's just kind of clunking around, unable to do something, and maybe not with quite low enough numbers that it's easy to sweep at the end. If I want to sweep something at the end, I'd rather the backside of the 2-6-2-1 than something with like a 3 facing out. It's just a little easier to pick up. So I really liked those, and I thought A88s might just be really good sweepers. If there's a massive cards, if 3 cards in both players' hands are like level 5 or lower, then the A88s are taking everything on those cards, right? Now, Elemental can mess with that, and Elemental in general can mess with sweepers. But my idea was these might just be really good sweepers. And then for a level 5 that kind of fit with what the rest of the hand was doing, I thought 2-6-7-6 was a nice fit. And that's where I ended up. Now, the hand, I think, looks ridiculous. I have 3 2s facing up and 3 2s facing down, right? And the down weakness is even worse than the up weakness, right? Where at least up I have a 10, down I have only an 8. So I get the downsides, or I get that there are downsides, but I think in practice, I can use one of the 2/6s. Say I get first turn. I think first turn's really good on this set, so let's pretend I get first turn. And I play like 2-6-2-1 in 7, right? I look for which corner they have the most trouble with, and I play it there. Maybe there's even an element there, and if there is, and it gets a -1, then 2-3-2-6 might have both recaptures. I'm really going to look to play one of those on a square that has no, if I play in 7 or 9 that has no, that is on an element but doesn't have an element above it, that would be ideal, so the A8-2-8 has the captures. Of course, then the 6 facing out is not as strong, but hopefully there's an element next to it. And because I can start in any of the 4 corners, I can kind of pick and choose how to play with the neighboring elements. That's my idea. This is really different than anything we've seen. If you see the Akiyama hand below it, who Google or YouTube's like closed transcribing of your voice once called him Hakiyama. That's why I named it that. You can see he went for a much more, 10, 8, 6, 2, 1 as his way to get to 27. I'm committing. I'm going to really try to have powerful sweepers. If there is an advantage to be had on this rule set and it's not do something conventional, I think something committal like this has a chance to be a real exploit, and I want to go for it, and I want to be the first one to do it before people get wise to this if it's a good strategy. On the other hand, if it's a bad strategy, being the first person to fail with it might not be the best thing. But that was my first hand that I really like. This is the one I want to try because it's the one that I looked at. I looked at the cards and I thought, this is the hand I want to play. This is the attempt to min max in a way that might be an exploit. that was my idea. I do think it looks really dumb. So many twos up and down, right? You might argue for something being better if there was like maybe instead of A828 something sideways there, like um, 8A74 kind of thing, or 9A64. But I like being able to pick up the six. I don't know. I like this hand. I think I'm pretty sold on this hand. I did create a variant. I wonder if that's nope. That's not the next one that we'll show. But we'll scroll down to the variant, the Una hand, where I swap in. I changed the 2623 to a 2126. I don't actually remember why I did that. But I thought the double Unas might be really strong, and the A964s are more reliable capturers of the 2126s, given that, 964A has every capture on 2621, 4A96 has every capture on 2126, and they also have a whole bunch of captures on the 2676 if walls are touching. I don't like this hand quite as much because I think there's going to be a lot of like the number 7 lying around. And if so, I have fewer things that just have guaranteed captures. I think it's easier to dodge those final captures at the end. That's what put me off this one. But I do like it as well. And if we see a lot of nines, then A88s don't want to see nines. That's my main bit of knowledge about A88s. Not a card I've used a ton of. Really high potential sweeper status. Really don't like seeing nines. And so if we see a lot of nines, I should be looking to switch if we tie. And the Una hand, if I like my general concept but think the A88s don't line up well, then this is maybe where I go. The Sergeant Joe hand, Sergeant Joe has been a lucky card for me in the past. I have won 2 finals games using Sergeant Joe. It's a card I really like. The 9349 pairing is usually pretty good. And then the 4176 is just a lot of power for a level 3, and I just kind of ended up picking powerful cards. I don't have a particular starter in mind with this one, uh, but it was a hand that appealed to me. Then this Piggy hand, the A874s have been playing quite well this rule set, and I think the 87A4 distribution might even be a stronger number distribution for it. This was a hand Pigs put together, and it visually appealed to me. I'm not quite sure what I'd be doing. I think I'd probably be starting 1523 in one of the corners. It has all 5 elements on it, and each card is a different element, meaning there is a decent chance something has a nice impact on the board, or something has a way to interact well with the board we happen to get. And I think it's an interesting hand. I think this is one of the stabler hands here. If I get in serious trouble with this but do survive, then I don't think I'm likely to switch to one of the more stable hands. If I find I like this hand but think the A88s aren't playing well, then I can switch to Una. And if I like the hand and think all of it's playing well, I probably stick with it. I can also switch A828 to A847 or A748, Balthier kind of thing. And that might be a better fit because it's better at recapturing its own stuff. But and going up 2 is really important with element. Like if you really want to take a 2 reliably, a 3 won't take a 2 near as reliably as usual. If you want to take that 2 reliably, you kind of got to go up to 4. It still won't always because you could get a -1 and the 2 could get a +1. But 4 is pretty reliable and 3 is a lot less than usual. So my first hand, we're going to try the all-in hand, and then we're going to adjust from there. Is there anything else I wanted to say before we get to the game? That was my hand building thought process. Really, 10-10-5-1-1 really appealed to me as an option. I looked at some like 1-6-6-7-7 type things, and I just thought, if they have something like an A88, they're just sweeping me at the end. Yeah, this was sort of when I was thinking about doing a hand like that, saying, okay, we can have one low level, but more than one low level is asking for it. There's also a 1-5-5-6-10. I thought that was a little more appealing. but I really just like the potential of two level 10s, and there is, a few configurations that get you there. You can go 1-1-5-10-10, you can go 1-2-4, or you can go 1-3-3, or 2-2-3. But I thought that many low levels. I know Deli was thinking of going Squall Cipher, so I know he has considered going level 2 10s. And also, I know he was thinking of combining them with level 2s and 3s that had a little more versatility, rather than me trying to just go fully lowest level available to give myself a little more power for later cards. So I know he's considered the double level 10. He also said, after seeing some of Vid Akiyama, I'm not sure if he watched the games or checked the hands after, I don't remember if he said, that he was rethinking what he intended to do. And they went with stuff that looked more like this, the 10-8-6-2-1 kind of build. I think every game of theirs had a level 1 and level 2, and the other three cards adding up to 24. Sometimes it was 9-8-7, sometimes it was 10-8-6. But in general, it was three cards, 6 through 10, adding up to 24, and a level 2 and a level 1. This was the one I liked most, though, because I really, the first game Akiyama played it, he played 1-3-7-3 and 3, and it was actually safe to Vid's hand. And if we look at the other hands, it's really easy to just not have anything higher than an 8 in a direction, and if the element happens to work against you, that can be a really hard thing to take. And the low levels both were in the same corner and fit nicely together. The next game, Vid had a really big threat of getting a +1 and 9 with an element that would have been really hard to deal with, and instead he played 4-1-5-2 and 9. And again, his high level cards have an easy time taking that, but his 1-3-7-3 also can be used as a recapturer there if needed. And I thought he handled that well, and the hand played well. So I want to keep in mind using this hand. It has 4 elements, it is a much more balanced hand, and stealing Akiyama's hand has a certain poeticness, given that he is the most prolific hand stealer on the site. The Piggy Man is a very similar mold. It again follows the level 1 and 2 for 3, and then the other 3 add up to 24, 10-8-6, same configuration. Kind of similar in some ways. A8-7-4 instead of A8-6-5. In general, I think the A8-7-4 is a little better, but here the A8-5-6 has some synergies we saw in the Akiyama game when he played 1-9-8-7 and 8. The A8-5-6 has both sides of that in an effective way. So what do I want to be looking out for in the game? How do the A8-8s play, right? I'm not like assuming we're going to tie games, but if we do tie games, I want to know how I'm going to switch. That should be something I'm ready for, because we're likely going to, there's a decent chance we're going to play a few games. And if I don't know how I want to switch, I will either be stuck on a hand that maybe doesn't have the right matchup. But also, if you play multiple games, and usually people do, if you are ready with switches, you often have an advantage over someone that either sticks with their hand or doesn't have time to adapt it. So you'll find some players that will ask for breaks really regularly because their hands are in trouble and they need time to figure out a solution. And that's legit. But it is nice to be able to play more than one game at a time. And yeah, I am hoping to be prepared for that kind of eventuality. If I see a lot of 9s, then maybe A9-6-4 comes out. Also, in fact, I should keep this window open, just so I can look at the hands while whatever we play happens. The rule set, just so I'm ready to post, is open, private, all the rules but random, and also elemental. Let's set 5 minutes for now, but probably going to be 7. And yeah, I'm pretty worried about this. I do think Deli's both been more active than me, but I also think he's been playing very well. And I haven't played too much for a while. I played really well in my Triad Wars games so far, and I didn't play badly when Ray beat me in a chat tournament, so that's not too bad a sign. So I've been all right. but not a high number of games. On the other hand, he has a lot going on right now, and I know he's a bit stressed out. So, that's going to be an advantage somewhere. But we didn't really have a way to avoid that, so I guess we run with it. Piggy mentioned that he thinks it's really good to have an elemental variety in your hand, right? If you have multiple cards with, say, fire, and a lot of fire appears on the board, that's great. But, if a bunch of different things, you have a much higher chance of something hitting in an interesting square if you diversify. Someone asked, Akiyama asked me to let him know. 7. Oh, Delial already put up. Okay. So we should be able to view games and rock and roll. Looks good. Okay. So we're going for it. All in. This is partially because this hand appeals to me. It's partially because I think this hand has a chance to sneak a win irregularly as he's adapting to the rule set. Because I think there's, if he goes for something really balanced, there's a chance my sweepers are too powerful. Now, I actually do have experience playing against him with much higher level cards than he has, because we played in the backhander, and I was just trying to give him the worst open hands possible, and I didn't beat him in that. And I've been thinking about that the last few days, that, I've had big open advantages against Deli, and it really hasn't made a difference. I think he's still putting up a slight plus against me in open in the return, and is definitely still on the leads the leaderboard for most wins against me in open. I'm still keeping track of that. And Deli has at least 5 wins against me in open in the return, which is definitely the most of anyone. I think Piggy Man's in second. Yeah, so this is my toughest opponent, and we're trying to catch him. What I'm trying to do is that sort of middle ground between gimmick and good hand, right? I think this hand is a bit gimmicky, certainly, but it has the potential to just be genuinely powerful. I think it's not just in need of a specific matchup. It has some power to it. But I gotta watch out for 9s. I really hope to get first turn. Again, I think first turn is an advantage. I caught 3 of the Akiyama vid games, and in one of them Vid stabilized second turn, and Akiyama had to be more careful. But in 2 of them, it was really Vid on the back foot, and probably should have lost both, only lost one. So, yeah. I don't know. First turn seems good. I think if on first turn I'm figuring out which corner is most annoying for him, if I'm on second turn, then hopefully can find a way to kind of simplify the position, force action into... But it's really hard to force action because it's really hard to be able to use your high levels first. You often have to start with a low level because the later in the game, the harder it is to find a use. So my suspicion is, whether I'm first or second turn, one of the 2 6/2s is going in one of the corners. I think that's a pretty safe prediction for how I'm going to end up playing this. I always like to also be able to check with the solver after I played around to see how I played and, see what was missed or see what's interesting. When I am playing an opponent in a tournament, I do try to wait. Okay. All right. So he went for something kind of like the Piggy Man construct. Okay. There's a lot of elements in play. He went for 5873, which is a +1 in 4, 5, and 9. Nothing else has a +1 for him. For me, I have pluses in 7 and 8, and 9, and 4, but mostly on my weaker cards. We did get second turn. I'm gonna minimize Discord so I just focus on the game. We went for A874. He doesn't have much upright. He has a 10 up, a 10 right, 8 up, 9 down, 7 left. All right, so 2, 6, 7, 6, and 1 is almost potentially safe if there's an element in 2, right? But 4, 2, 3, 1 gives some coverage. Okay. A8, 2, 8 in 7 is safe, right? 10s are powerful. Part of the reason for committing so hard is that having A's in your hand is a really powerful effect because you can't have touching double numbers. So we have gone very different paths here. But he went the 10-8, 10-8, 6-2-1 path, right? He went the path we've seen people go. This is the established, possibly just correct path. And he did it with cards I think are good. I think 5873 is, of course, great on any elemental rule set. If I could go to a level 0 to upgrade Marlboro to a level 6, this would be the card I'd want, right? 8197 I really like and think can be a nice fit with some other cards. That was in the Piggy hand. A874s have looked really good so far. 2517 is one of my favorite level 2s. It's a fun level 2. And 4213 I think picks up a bunch of his like 7s and has some plus wall potential, maybe also gives him a weak corner. Now, I wish the poison and the rocks were not quite in the spots they're in because they're kind of annoying for my low-level poison and rock cards. If I was gonna play one of them, I also kind of wish I had 2126 instead of 2326. Because if 2621 in 7 is ever taken by 2517 and 8, it would be really nice if I could combo that back, and it's a shame I can't. That's a shame. I think A828 is my best card. Not just because it can go in 7, but because of all the things that go with it being able to go in 7, right? That it's 10 and it's 8 cannot be beaten. So they have 77731 to the left, 974 going down, but that doesn't really matter. I have 2s up and down. I can't exploit up-down weaknesses. I really got to consider left-right, but not up-down. The game is not about up-down for me. Which is going to make it really annoying when he plays like 4-2-3-1 and 2 and says, I am going to force this game into being up-down. But, okay, to the right, 10, 8, 5. But the 5 can pick off my 6s in one spot, not as much in another. The element configuration did not land quite how I wanted it. I would have really liked an open corner with an element and a side next to it, and none of the 4 corners have that. None of the 4 corners have that. And where the rocks and the poisons landed is also not really what I was looking forward to. Yeah. Okay. Got to keep an eye on 5873. That's our weird card to calculate around. I don't like the element configurations. I think in general, given my cards, like, you know, I generally want to be a little more left than right, certainly, right? 8-1-8A kind of indicates that. So most likely first move for me is 2-6-2-1 and 1 or 7. But it's not quite how I dreamt it up. I don't love the elements here in this game one. Deli, as always, will use all his time, which, if I get in a bad position, will just give me more time to suffer, which can't be good for the psyche, but also gives more time to try to find something. Man, I stopped talking for a sec, and that's when the nerves come in. So maybe we should just keep talking. Let's go motor mouth. 4-2-1-3 is 3-1 is picked up, and where will it go? It's put down. He's a thinker. He picks things up, he puts them down, he plays late. Hopefully he doesn't. Okay, 2-5-1-7 in 6. All right, we have action. We have liftoff. And the game has begun. Okay. Two, 6-2-1 could go in 1 or 7. Annoyingly, if Elena lands in either 2 or 8, he has pluses in 5. But they do require some of the better cards to come out of his hand. So we can't be too fussed about these things. Sorry, I'm not going to be talking that much this game because, especially early, I'm going to need the thinking time. I have a lot of combo potential against 8s and A's to the right. So it can be hard for him to find safety in a bunch of spots. He gets a +1 and 5. That might mess with things weirdly with 5-8-7-3. That might do some weird things. Kind of want to play 2-6-2-1 and 7. That's the one that speaks to me. Because I have a lot more plus wall potential down into their cards than up away from their cards. Or up into their cards, right? There's like a 9 facing down. I can't do stuff with a 9 facing down. Or I'd need 2-6-2-1 to do stuff, right? There's a 4 facing down. I can't do anything with a 4. But an 8 facing up, I can do stuff with. A 5 facing up, I can do stuff with. So I think I want the upper squares left more open and the lower squares filled in. So 2-6-2-1 and 7 is my default move that I think is a good move to make. And if I don't find anything I'm in love with, I will make that move. Can I do anything in 3 or 9 is my next question. And I don't think the pluses line up for me. Now, playing in 7 takes away 7 from A8-8, which is a card that obviously wouldn't mind landing in 7. Am I going to have a right weakness? I don't think so. Importantly, 2-6-2-1 doesn't give me a problem in going safely in 9 with 8-1-8A, right? Because 8-1-8A has 3 and 9. And that's sort of why I want to leave them open. I think that pair of squares can potentially go well for me. Right? They don't have safety in 3 or 9. I do. And they don't because A8-8 is so good. Maybe if I go 7, he wants to go 8-1-9-7 and 3. But then I go 8-1-8A and 9? And any 8 up and 8 is covered by 2, 3, 2, 6, and 5. So I should have some play there. I like 2-6-2-1 in 7. I think I'm going to play it. It's sort of my intent with the hand. And I think it does logical things. 2-3-2-6 due to the +1 in 8 is actually not that great a recapture, right? Because 5-8-7-3 and 9 +1s it, or combos it, and I actually flip too much. But I think there's not a situation where we're forced into that. I think. Because also, if like, say 4-2-3-1 in 4, could I play A8-8 and 8 as my recapture? It is safe. It locks in a card. I still have 8-1-8A, which is really good. 8-8-4-7 sweeps me on top. Might be hard for me to ever win there, but I also don't think I should lose there. All right, let's check the Discord while it's his turn. Okay, hand changes. Would his hand play well against Eunice? Well, it has a lot of incidental coverage of the A9 parts, right? And that means the Sergeant Joe hand, which is pretty similar in the direction to the Una hand, probably isn't a great swap in either. Yeah, I don't think those line up well. Okay. How about the piggy hand? 8-7-8-4, Beardo, plays really well off all the Elenas, hopefully. That's a pretty similar direction to what he went, Just without the 5-8-7-3. But honestly, the 5-8-7-3 might be a good sub-in for the 4-8-4-6, which would almost be an identical hand to Deli's hand, except with 8-7-8-4 instead of 8-8-4-7. Piggy and Deli, some similar thinking here, because Piggy made this hand before he realized 5-8-7-3 was available. And maybe this hand, just 5-8-7-3, would be a good sub-in for it. And before you say, but it has two eights up and only eights, well, Deli's hand has two eights up and only eights. I don't know that that's too painful. I'm feeling a little better because I don't think I'm going to lose this game, which is, a big thing to say. And I've said it before against Deli and had it come back to bite me. But it's nice when you can ease a little bit into a matchup. Overall, I think the fact that his hand can't touch A828 is really encouraging. Maybe it means 818A should be swapped for Nuge. Because Nuge would also be a really hard card for his hand to deal with. Maybe that's the change I should be looking for. I could also 7636 as an element. So I could swap 2676 for 7636 and switch A828 for 18A8, thinking he'll switch to cover A828. But he might not, because at the point this game ends, if we tie, we'll be so far away from A828 having had safety in 7. It'll have obviously been a good card, but he'll have had some ways to try to fight it. I don't know. And maybe he's just not worried about it because, like, if he goes in 3 and A828 ever goes in 2, he combos from 1. Why should this be a problem for him? So, yeah. I don't know. I think we're going to be playing a game of chicken over the 3 and 9 squares. But I got a side-to-side game, which I wanted. And I think my sweepers are pretty good here. I think like the A88s have paid off well. There's 1-9 in the game, and that 9's annoying for me. I do not like seeing that 9. But everything else seems workable. 5, 8, 7, 3, and 4 that he sets up a plus and 5 for 4, 2, 3, 1. But I think that's relying too much on a not very good card. I don't think he wants to be locked into that. And I can always play A8, 2, 8, and 8 if needed. I don't have to recapture with 2, 3, 2, 6, and I don't have to combo with 2, 6, 7, 6, and 1. I don't know what he should do. I'm gonna guess he plays something like 4, 2, 3, 1, and 5. That he keeps it vague and keeps power on the board. And I think that's a good strategy against me. I don't think I handle that kind of thing all that well. I think anything in 3 or 9, I have a good chance to be able to go in the other one. Okay. He does go 3. This was the first thing I thought he should do because 2 is so well covered by his combo potential. Now, I want to go in 9. I want to go in 9. Is he planning to land 5, 8, 7, 3, and 5? He can't be. 2, 6, 7, 6 is so strong there. Alright, I mean, 8, 1, 8, A, 9. If 8, A, 4, 7, 8, I combo it, and, like, I'm in good shape. If 5, 8, 7, 3 or 4, 2, 3, 1, 8, I probably just take it from 5. At that point, I'm up 7-3. He may well have a tie, but, like, it's scary, right? It's definitely scary. So I think 8 is not that feasible. He goes 5, 5, 8, 7, 3 gives my 2, 6, 7, 6 both 2 and 4. That looks very dangerous. 8, 8, 4, 7, he has a little more combo play, but again, very dangerous and leaves him with 4, 2, 3, 1 so late in the game. So maybe 2? 4, 2, 3, 1, and 2 gives 4, 2, 3, 1 a real use. I'm up 6-4, but I think there might only be ties there. I have 2, 6, 7, 6, and 1. He goes 5, but the +1 is actually kind of bad for him. Because it means he doesn't have captures in 8. I think this is all ties, but I think I should go 9. I think 9 makes sense. Honestly, like, what else is there? I could go 8, but the combos never go my way there. The 2 facing out is just, it makes it too easy to clean up. I could go 4 and say he has a left issue. A8, 2, 8, and 4. But then he has 4, 2, 3, 1, and 5, right? A8, 2, 8 is not safe there. Could go A8, 2, 8, and 8, but no, that's not good. And I don't have A8, 2, 8, and 4. Notably, my 2's up can't take his 1 down, which is a little silly. There's the +1 and 5, but I don't think that ever hurts me. I think he's the one who has more risk around it. I mean, I guess it does help him in the lines. I go 9, he goes 2, I go 1, he goes 5 with 5, 8, 7, 3. Like, that it can capture 6 is important. Okay. But I think we're gonna go 9. Stupid 5873 doesn't, it only has 4 elements, right? Doesn't have more than 4. We can try to work around those 4. I think he's the one who has to be a little more careful here, which I think is a victory for my hand. So I think an encouraging start, but obviously tricky game. Just checking the Discord. I don't think this game should make me want to switch hands. Turds has wished us good luck. I think I didn't get a lot out of it, but I got a little. I think I got a little. I think this was a tricky game for him to play. And while I spent a while thinking about my moves, 2, 6, 2, 1, and 7 was kind of my go-to first move without having seen the hands. And 8, 1, 8A, and 9 was the very straightforward thing to do. So unless I've gotten something horribly wrong here, I think we basically got to make the normal moves, right? And that's what you want out of a hand. You want it to minimize how smart you have to be. That's what we're going for here. You want it to do the work for you, and I think it did here. Not enough to like win the game, but Deli's a great player. And he has to be careful here, I think. And I don't think I have to be careful here. But again, I've said this before and had it feel rather foolish shortly after. I'm very glad Elena doesn't have a 6 to the left in some line where like 5, 8, 7, 3, and 5 actually sets up 4, 2, 3, 1 to be a huge bomb in 2 and 4. That would be a kind of miserable way to lose this. It's possible this is scarier than I think. 8, 8, 4, 7 can sweep me on the top row. Like, I have no downs at all. For instance, if like 4, 2, 3, 1, and 8, say I play 2, 6, 7, 6, and 5 to go up 7, 3, and they play 5, 8, 7, 3, and 4 to make it 5, 5. Note, I can't actually go in 2. I lose if I go in 2. I have to go A8, 2, 8, and 1 to tie, which is kind of miserable coming out of a position that should be pleasant for me to have my only tie be like the non-capture hide in the corner move. But that's part of the reason I thought A8-8s might be good, is because it's hard to have a full sweeper here, and they're kind of the card I thought had the best chance to be one. No, it's Delial's such a difficult opponent for everyone, but everyone very much including me. 8847 in 4 is safe. 2676 wishes it was 3575. Sure. Yeah. I don't think it's a very good move, but it is safe. Something to keep an eye on. Yeah, it's tough when my high levels come out of my hand. You could certainly look at it this, from the perspective of he used his level 8 and got me to use a level 10. So if we look at our remaining cards, we both have a level 1, we both have a level 10, and he's got a level 6 that's a better card than my level 5. I would look at it as I think I got a slightly better position on the board, but he has slightly better cards remaining. And I think this is not coincidental, right? This is something true to our styles, that I will try to achieve tangible things on the board, and Delial will do a better job of keeping valuable cards in hand and making sure the cards that come out of our hands, the kind of trades we're making, favor him. But I'm also really glad I could play what I think was a comfortable move in 9, because calculating with Elemental is really difficult, and turn 5 is the hardest turn in general. It's the turn where, even if you're a very good calculator, you do not have time to calculate everything. You have to be picking and choosing at this point. And with Element, it is easier to get confused in those calculations. So this is the turn where it's really easy to make mistakes. Turns 4 and 5 are the turns where I think critical mistakes are really hard to avoid. Just really easy to end up on the wrong thing, on the wrong idea, and not have enough time to adapt to something else. So, that said, the more easy turns 4s and 5s you can give yourself, 4, 2, 3, 1 is picked up. My guess is it goes in 2 or 8. Either one makes some sense. It goes in 2. And now I should be in auto calculation mode, so I'm just going to try to calculate everything in the 7 minutes and just make sure everything checks out. So 2, 6, 7, 6, and 1. I go up 7, 3. If they go 8, 8, 4, 7 in 4, then it's 6, 4. And I can block 5 and I win. Wait, I don't win. Oh god. Already struggling to calculate. Terrible sign. Okay. That makes it 6-4. It's current score. Current score is 6-4. I go there, 7-3, 6-4. Okay. 8-8-4-7 there is a tie. 5-8-7-3 there. 6-4. 7-3. I win that one. 5-8-7-3 in 5. 5-5. I go 4. 6-4. 5-5. Tie. Okay. 8-8-4-7 in 5. That one's a lot less likely to happen. I combo from 8 and I win. 5-8-7-3 in 8. 7-3. I don't have the captures. That's a tie. And 8-8-4-7, 8. Looks like another tie. No, that one I win. Okay, but there he's not winning there. 2-6-7-6 in 1 is a tie. Okay. Next most obvious move to make is A8-2-8 in 8. They go 5-8-7-3-5. It's 5-5. I take from 4. It's 6-4. We tie. 8-8-7-4 and 5. They take. It's 5-5. We go in 1 with a 7 down. 12-15-9. Yeah. 6-4. 5-5. Tie. They go in 6, making it 5-5. We can't lose there. They go, and I don't have to calculate further because if I know I'm not losing, we've already found ties for them, so they won't play it if it's not a win. 5-8-7-3, I can't lose there. Okay. And if they go in 1, but they already have ties here, so I don't know that I need to keep checking there. What else is there that's legal to play? A8-2-8 in 4 is now safe. Is that true? That is true. If they go in 8 with either card, I win. That's true. Yeah, that's true. If they go in 1, I lose. All right, well, there was a short-lived idea of hope. I got optimistic about that for a sec, but I actually have no captures there, and I'm going to get double captured at the end. Can we go in 5? No, 5 doesn't do much. Something in 5. Yeah, they go 8-8-4-7 and 8, and they flip 7, and importantly, I can't flip that back. Hmm. Don't have a way to use the elements. Can start an 8 with something other than A8-2-8, but I don't think it does anything. I kind of like 2-3-2-6-5. I think that's the funnest tie. They only have one tie there. 5-8-7-3 and 1 loses amusingly to 2-6-7-6 and 4. I'm going to play 2, 3, 2, 6, and 5. If it had a +1, this would be a losing move, which is kind of funny. Not that funny. No, it wouldn't be a losing move. I could still go in a 1 after. Okay. We tie game 1. I think the hand matchup went our way. As stupid as my hand looked, I think it's a good hand. And, yeah. This was a kind of silly move, but I think he only has 1 tie, actually, which is always amusing. Because anything in 4 loses to 8, and anything in 1 loses to 4. And 5, 8, 7, 3, and 8 loses to 4. I should get ready to post the game. Good first game. I don't see a reason to switch hands here, but Deli says this might take a while. What's the move order? 6, 7, 3, 9, 2, 5. All right, so no one got the hole. We caught him completely off guard, and there was nothing they could do working for him, which I think we both would have really liked. We'd have both appreciated an off day here. However many games this takes, I'm probably going to do 1 game per video, just because otherwise these videos will go on a whole long time. Yeah, we've been going an hour. Yeah. A good second turn result here. No complaints. I can probably actually, while listing a move order, list 8, 4, 1. Because I will go 4. Though 1 is also a tie. We could go 1, 4. Can play 2, 6, 7, 6 there, but maybe I shouldn't stress that A8, 2, 8 is safe. Maybe that's something I should like kind of keep on the down low, but I think it doesn't matter. And we have indeed seen 8, 8, 4, 7 picked up. It lands in 8. We're down 6, 4. In these spots, if there's one card that ties in both spots, I like to pick up that card just to avoid the potential calamity of a misclick. But I think we're all right, and we'll call that a video.